Welcome to this webinar, Why Predictive Analytics. I have divided this recording into two parts. The agenda is following. In part 1, I am going to talk about value and ref case and also how to start. And then in part 2, I will make a demo. So first, why predictive analytics, part 1. First, some reference cases with examples from organizations. Here are some numbers. The first company, Sephora in Spain, they increased the response rate in the marketing campaigns with 200%. Then we have the Cablecom, Switzerland. They had some problem with the churn, and they went from 90% churn to 2% churn within 1.5 years. We have the Infinity. They had an ROI that was 403% the 3 first months. We have Photobox. They had increased sales with 30%. Red Cats, 122% ROI first year, and then IBM, $133 million cash flow. First, think of where are you in the different phases of analytics. I have 3 phases here as an example. The first one is when you just ask a question. How many has churned? How many customers have cancelled their contracts, for example? The next phase is when you try to figure out why you have lost customers. Maybe you are doing some cross tables, maybe you are using BI tools or a statistics tool. And the last phase is when you also use the information from phase 2 to do predictive analytics, to forecast the future. There is a time implementation also in this graph. So the higher phases has longer time to implement, but you also get the better analytic sophistication. IBM has a lot of tools to offer. We have Watson that you can use in the first phase or in the second phase. There you also have the modeler to do some data mining, for example, to find out the best models or the best explanation why you lose customers. In the last phase, you can do predictive analytics and also use the modeler for that. If we stop here at the phase 2, when you try to find out why you lost customer. If you go to the first table here as an example, if I have a look on the customers, are they old or new members in my customer club? Here we can see that there are no difference between these two groups. It's 20% who has quit in both groups. And many times you just stop here and think, okay, it's no differences here. But the interesting thing is to go one more step. If we have a look in contract 2 customers and compare the old and new members, we can suddenly see some differences between them. And if we go one more step further to contract 2 and have a look on the satisfaction, then we can see that the people who has just 1 to 4 in satisfaction, there we have 40% cancellations among all customers. But if you try this, you will have a lot of cross tables and a lot of combinations, and that will take a lot of time. So instead, you can do, for example, tree analysis. That's a way to find relations much faster. So here's an example of tree analysis. That's a data mining method. I first decide what is my target variable, and in this case, customer that has cancelled their contract with us. So 15% among all the customers during the last years. What is most important to explain why we lost customers? The job category was the first and most important. So technical people, among them 19%, and among other job categories we have 4%. If we go further to the people who is working with economy, admin and service, we have the region. So we can see that the South region, among them we have 21% lost members. If we go further to the right side and the technical part, we can see when the person got member is very important. So among people who is new customers and is working with some technical, there we lose 40%. So this line is following the most important explanation of why we lose customers, and that's a business rule. And all these branches that you see here is something that we can save for the future, the rules. And then you can use all these rules to find some twins in the future. And in a list, you can have a risk value or a scoring of how big risk it is to lose a customer in the future. So the summary here is, instead of doing a lot of cross-tabulation to find relationships, find something that explains why you lose customers, you can use the data mining methods like the tree analysis that will save a lot of time. And then you can use this information that you got from the data mining step to predict the future. Next question is how to start. The process in a predictive analytics is, first you have to have data information. Many times you have different sources with customer information in different places. Then you have to prepare, clean and merge data maybe. After that, find the best model and then use this information from the model to predict the future and then act. So in SPSS modeler, it could look like this. First step is to catch all the information. It's very easy to merge everything together, and I call that the preparation step. You can also put in other preparation like select data or do new variables, calculations, and so on. Then you also decide the target variable. That's something that you do in the type node. After that, when you have decided the target and the input, then the model could find out the best explanation. And the results, for example, a tree diagram, is something that you find in the yellow diamond. Then you can just copy this diamond and use that for the future and predict on quite new data. And after that you can act. So now we have come to the demo part. And I would like to show you the Watson Analytics when you are working on the cloud, and then the SPSS Modeler, the desktop version. And you can see this in the next recording that I have called Why Predictive Analytics, Part 2. So welcome to Part 2 demo.